There is a story circulating online about the British royal family. It claims that a private meeting took place involving King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and Catherine, and that a secret document was used to set limits on Camilla's future institutional role. But there is an important point that must be made clear. There is no official confirmation of this alleged meeting, this alleged document, or the phrase, continuation beyond the present sovereign. So this story should not be presented as a confirmed royal decision or as established fact. What we do know officially is that Camilla is currently the queen and an active member of the royal family. The official royal family website says that she supports King Charles in his work and carries out her own public and charitable responsibilities. King Charles became king on September 8, 2022, following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Prince William is currently the Prince of Wales and the heir to the throne. The official royal family website says that he carries out public and official duties in support of the king. Because of these facts, it would not be accurate to say that Camilla's role has already been secretly ended or that a confirmed decision has been made against her. The online story describes a dramatic private confrontation and suggests that a confidential succession document could affect Camilla's future position. However, there is no public official evidence confirming that this specific meeting or document exists. What is real is that succession planning is an important part of the monarchy. When a future change of reign eventually takes place, the royal household and its working arrangements can be reviewed and organized according to the needs of the new reign. But that does not automatically prove the existence of a secret plan against Camilla. This is where the difference between confirmed royal news and online speculation becomes very important. A story can contain many detailed claims about private meetings, documents, signatures, conversations, and reactions. But detailed storytelling does not automatically make those claims true. For a major claim about the future position of a queen or another senior member of the royal family, viewers should look for an official announcement or reliable evidence. At the moment, there is no public official announcement confirming the dramatic secret document story described online. So the first clear conclusion is this. Camilla is currently an active queen. William is the heir to the throne, and the alleged secret meeting and document described in this story have not been officially confirmed. The bigger question is what could actually happen to Camilla's role if Prince William becomes king in the future. That is where the real constitutional and institutional picture becomes important. In the next part, we will look at Camilla's current position, William's role as heir, and what is actually known about the possible changes that could happen when a new reign eventually begins. Now we come to the most important question in this story. If Prince William becomes king in the future, what would happen to Queen Camilla's role? To understand that, we first need to separate what is confirmed today from what is only speculation about the future. Prince William is currently the Prince of Wales and heir to the throne. The official royal family website confirms that he carries out public and official duties in support of King Charles, both in the United Kingdom and overseas. King Charles remains the current monarch. He became king on September 8, 2022, following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Camilla is also currently an active member of the royal family. Her present position and public duties are part of the current royal structure. So, when we talk about what might happen after a future change of reign, we are talking about a future situation, not a decision that has already been officially announced. This distinction is extremely important. When a new monarch eventually comes to the throne, the royal household can be organized around the needs and responsibilities of that new reign. The new monarch becomes the central constitutional figure, and the working structure around the crown can be adjusted. But there is an important difference between the position of the monarch and the position of the monarch's spouse. The king or queen is the sovereign. The spouse does not automatically have the same constitutional position as the monarch. This is why it would be too simple to say that if William becomes king, every part of Camilla's royal role would automatically disappear. At the same time, it would also be wrong to claim that every arrangement connected to the current reign must automatically continue forever. Royal titles, styles, and honors can involve formal constitutional and legal processes. The House of Commons Library explains that many royal titles and honors are granted through the royal prerogative, often using formal instruments such as letters patent or royal warrants, and that some titles and honors can also be removed through formal processes. That tells us something important. A major change to a royal title or formal status is not something we should assume has happened simply because an online story says that a secret document exists. There needs to be evidence. And this brings us back to the viral story about Camilla. The original story claims that William and Catherine were involved in a private meeting where a confidential succession document was discussed. It also claims that this document contained language that could affect Camilla's future position. But there is no public official confirmation of that specific meeting or document. There is also no verified evidence showing that William and Catherine secretly created a plan to remove Camilla from a future royal role. Those are major claims, and they require strong evidence. The fact that William is preparing for his future responsibilities is real. His current role already involves supporting the king and carrying out official duties. The official royal family website describes him as the heir to the throne and explains that he works in support of the king and the royal family. So, future preparation itself should not be confused with a secret campaign against another member of the royal family. This is where many online stories become misleading. They take something real, such as succession planning, and combine it with private conversations, secret documents, and dramatic family confrontations that have not been publicly confirmed. The result can sound like a genuine palace investigation, even when there is no reliable evidence for the specific events being described. A good example is the claim that Camilla's household could somehow continue exercising authority after a future change of reign. There is no publicly confirmed evidence that such a plan exists. There is also no verified evidence that Camilla has already been told that her future position will be limited by a secret document signed by King Charles. And there is no official announcement saying that William and Catherine have taken such a decision. So, what can we actually say? We can say that William is the current heir to the throne. We can say that Charles is the current king. We can say that Camilla is currently queen and an active member of the royal family. And we can say that a future change of reign would bring a new set of institutional arrangements around the new monarch. But we cannot turn an unconfirmed story about a private meeting into established fact. There is another important point here. The line of succession itself is not simply a matter of family preference. The House of Commons Library identifies Prince William as first in the current line of succession, followed by his 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. That is a confirmed part of the constitutional structure, but the exact details of how individual royal households would operate during a future reign are a separate matter. This means that when people hear a claim such as, William has already decided what will happen to Camilla, they should ask a simple question. Where is the official evidence? Is there an announcement from Buckingham Palace? Is there a statement from the royal family? Is there a parliamentary or constitutional document supporting the claim? Or is the information coming only from an online story that provides no verifiable source? That difference matters, because a story can be written in a very confident way and still be unverified. It can describe a room, a document, a signature, and even a private conversation in great detail. But without evidence, those details remain claims, not confirmed news. And that is especially important when the story involves senior members of the British royal family. The future of Camilla's public role may become a subject of discussion as the monarchy eventually moves from one reign to another. But at this moment, there is no official announcement confirming that a secret plan has already been created to remove or restrict her future role. So, the factual picture is much more straightforward than the dramatic version circulating online. Charles is king. Camilla is queen. William is the heir to the throne. If William becomes king in the future, the royal household can be organized around the needs of his reign. But the exact future role of Camilla cannot honestly be presented as already decided unless an official source confirms it. And that is the key point viewers should remember. Future planning is real. The alleged secret plan against Camilla is not officially confirmed. In the next part, we will look more closely at how the royal household works, what can actually change during a future transition of reign, and why a change in royal responsibilities should not automatically be described as a palace conflict. Now let's look at the part of this story that is often made much more dramatic online. What actually happens to the royal household when a new monarch eventually takes the throne? The first thing to understand is that the British monarchy is not simply a family. It is also a constitutional institution. Different members of the royal family have different positions, responsibilities, and public duties. The official royal family website says that members of the royal family work together to support the king in his official duties. At the moment, King Charles is the reigning monarch. Queen Camilla is an active member of the royal family, and Prince William is the heir to the throne. The official royal family website describes William as the heir to the throne. Camilla also continues to carry out official public duties. The royal family website says that she supports the king in his work and duties and undertakes public engagements connected to the charities she supports. So, when we discuss what could happen in a future reign, we have to separate what is happening now from what might happen in the future. If Prince William eventually becomes king, there would be a new reign, and the royal household could be organized around the responsibilities and needs of that new reign. That does not automatically mean there would be a personal conflict between members of the royal family. Changes to staff, duties, offices, responsibilities, and working arrangements can be part of the normal organization of a large institution. The royal household itself is a large organization. Its official information describes a wide range of roles, including finance, human resources, information technology, engineering, curatorial work, and catering. So, when a future reign eventually begins, it is reasonable to expect that the institution may review how its work is organized. But that is very different from the dramatic claim made in the original online story. That story suggested that Camilla's household was trying to maintain influence, access, staff, security, and authority beyond the current reign, and that William personally stepped in after reading a secret succession file. There is no public official confirmation of those specific claims. There is also no verified evidence that William secretly read such a file and then arranged a private confrontation with Charles and Camilla. These details may make a story sound like an inside royal investigation, but without reliable evidence, they remain unverified claims. This is an important point for anyone following royal family news. A succession review is not unusual. Preparing for the future is not unusual. Reviewing staffing and responsibilities is not unusual. But saying that those normal processes were secretly used to remove Camilla or weaken her position is a much bigger claim. That claim requires evidence. The same applies to Catherine. The original story claimed that Catherine had a private consultation with constitutional advisors and asked what would happen if a former queen continued giving instructions to staff after a new monarch took the throne. It then claimed that Catherine agreed in principle with a legal recommendation. But there is no public official confirmation of this specific consultation or memorandum. So it should not be presented as a confirmed event. What we can confirm is that Catherine currently carries out royal duties in support of the king and supports a number of charitable causes and organizations. The official royal family website describes her current work and responsibilities. That is very different from saying that she has secretly taken action against Camilla. The same caution applies to Prince William. His position as heir is confirmed. His official duties are confirmed. His preparation for a future role as monarch is a normal part of his position. But the claim that he has already created a secret plan to control Camilla's future role is not confirmed. This distinction becomes even more important when we talk about royal titles. Titles and royal styles are not simply informal names that can be changed whenever someone wants. There can be formal constitutional and legal processes involved. That is why a claim about a secret document changing a royal title or formal position should always be checked against official information. A dramatic story might say that one document has already decided everything, but the existence, wording, legal effect, and authority of such a document would all need to be established before it could be treated as real news. There is another important fact about the current royal household. Official royal information continues to show King Charles and Queen Camilla carrying out public duties together in 2026. For example, the royal family website published information about the King and Queen taking part in official events during 2026. That is direct evidence of their current public roles. So, as of now, there is no official indication that Camilla has been removed from her current position, or that her current role has been secretly cancelled. The future is different. If William eventually becomes king, the structure around the crown can change. The new monarch will have their own official responsibilities, their own household arrangements, and their own priorities. Some existing roles may continue, some may change, some responsibilities may be reviewed, but we cannot say today exactly how every arrangement involving Camilla would work in a future reign unless an official decision or announcement is made. That is why the phrase secret palace plan should be used very carefully. A real institutional review is one thing. A confirmed decision against a member of the royal family is another, and a completely unverified story about a private meeting is something else again. These three things should never be presented as if they are the same. The original story also suggested that Camilla's household could become a second center of power after a future change of reign. That is an interpretation made by the story, not an officially confirmed fact. There is currently no public evidence showing that such a situation has been created or that William is preparing to confront Camilla over it. So the factual picture remains much simpler. The monarchy has a real succession system. William is the heir. The royal household carries out real planning and administration. Camilla is currently an active queen, and future royal arrangements can be reviewed when circumstances change. But the specific secret meeting, secret document, private legal memorandum, and confrontation described in the viral story remain unconfirmed. This is exactly why viewers should be careful when watching highly dramatic royal family content. A story can use real names. It can mention real institutions. It can describe real constitutional concepts, and it can still build an unverified narrative around them. The presence of real people and real royal terminology does not automatically make every part of the story factual. So, at this point, the strongest conclusion we can make is this. There is a real process of succession and royal household planning, but there is no official evidence confirming the dramatic secret plan against Camilla described in the original story. And that leads to the final question. If William eventually becomes king, what exactly could happen to Camilla's title, public role, and relationship with the new royal household? And more importantly, which parts of this viral story can actually be supported by reliable evidence, and which parts should remain labeled as speculation? That is what we will examine in the final part. Now, we need to look at this story from the most important angle. If there were really a major change planned for Camilla's future position, what kind of evidence would we expect to see? This is where official information becomes much more important than dramatic online stories. The official royal family website currently describes Queen Camilla as supporting King Charles in his work and duties. It also says that she carries out public engagements for charities and causes she supports. This is important because it shows us Camilla's real position today. She is not a former queen. She has not been officially removed from the royal family's working structure, and there is no official announcement saying that her current role has secretly been cancelled. In fact, official royal family information continues to show Camilla taking part in public duties in 2026. The royal family website has published information about her recent engagements, including an appearance at the British Library in June 2026. So, when we compare these official records with the dramatic story circulating online, there is a clear difference. The online story talks about a secret document, a private meeting, and a hidden plan involving William, Catherine, Charles, and Camilla. But the official information available to the public does not confirm those specific events. That does not mean that future royal planning does not exist. It simply means that we should not turn an unconfirmed story into confirmed news. Prince William's future role is also clear. The official royal family website describes him as the heir to the throne. He already carries out official duties in support of the king. So it is completely normal for William to have responsibilities connected to the future of the monarchy. But normal preparation for a future reign is not the same thing as secretly planning against Camilla. That distinction is extremely important. The original story also claims that Catherine took part in a private constitutional consultation, and that this consultation helped create the foundation for a plan affecting Camilla. But there is no public official confirmation of that specific meeting or memorandum. What is officially known is that Catherine, as Princess of Wales, carries out royal duties in support of the king and supports a number of charitable causes and organizations. That is the information we can verify. The private conversation described in the viral story is something different. It remains unconfirmed. The same principle applies to the alleged succession file. The story describes a detailed document containing specific language about what would happen after the current sovereign. It also describes warnings, requests, legal advice, and private discussions involving members of the royal family. But without an official copy of the document, an official statement, or reliable independent reporting confirming those details, we cannot honestly present the story as a real palace investigation. This is especially important because the story uses real people and real royal institutions. It mentions King Charles. It mentions Queen Camilla. It mentions Prince William. It mentions Catherine. It talks about succession. It talks about royal households. All of those things are real. But putting real people and real institutions into an unverified story does not make every detail of that story true. That is one of the biggest problems with highly dramatic royal content online. A story can sound extremely convincing because it contains many specific details. It can describe a private room. It can describe a document. It can describe someone's reaction. It can even include exact words that people supposedly said. But unless those details can be supported by credible evidence, they should remain clearly labeled as claims or speculation. Now consider the actual royal household. Buckingham Palace is not simply a private family home. The official royal family website describes it as the administrative headquarters of the monarch. That means the work connected to the monarchy includes many practical and administrative responsibilities. So when a future monarch eventually takes the throne, it is reasonable to expect that the institution may review how its work is organized. Staffing can be reviewed. Responsibilities can be reviewed. Official duties can be reorganized. Working arrangements can change. But these normal institutional processes should not automatically be described as a personal attack on another member of the royal family. That is where the original story goes much further than the confirmed information. It presents the alleged changes as part of a deliberate plan against Camilla. But there is no official evidence confirming that interpretation. There is also no confirmed evidence that William and Catherine have created a secret agreement to limit Camilla's future role. And there is no public official statement confirming that King Charles signed a secret document specifically designed to end Camilla's future position. So what should viewers believe? The safest approach is to separate the story into two categories. The first category is confirmed information. Charles is the current king. Camilla is the current queen and continues to carry out official public duties. William is the heir to the throne. Catherine is the Princess of Wales and continues to carry out royal duties. These are supported by official royal family information. The second category is unconfirmed claims, the alleged secret meeting, the alleged confidential succession document, the alleged private legal memorandum, the alleged confrontation between William, Catherine, Charles, and Camilla, and the claim that a hidden plan has already been created to restrict Camilla's future role. Those specific claims have not been officially confirmed. That difference is not a small detail. It changes the entire way the story should be reported. Because if we present an unverified claim as fact, viewers may believe that a royal decision has already been made when there is no public evidence showing that it has. And that is exactly what responsible news reporting should avoid. So, at this stage, the evidence gives us a much clearer picture than the dramatic version of the story. Camilla is still an active queen. William is still the heir. Charles is still the reigning king, and the alleged secret plan described online has not been officially confirmed. But one major question still remains. If William eventually becomes king, what could actually happen to Camilla's title and public role? Would everything change automatically? Would some responsibilities continue? Could her future position be decided later? And which parts of the viral story are based on real constitutional facts, while which parts are simply speculation? That is the question we will answer in the final part. Now we come to the most important question in this entire story. What is actually true, and what is only speculation? Let's start with the facts that can be confirmed. King Charles III is the current monarch of the United Kingdom. Queen Camilla is the current queen and continues to carry out public and official duties. Prince William is the Prince of Wales and the first person in the current line of succession to the throne. These are confirmed facts. But the original story goes much further. It claims that William, Catherine, Charles, and Camilla were involved in a private meeting where a confidential succession document was discussed. It claims that this document contained a specific clause that could affect Camilla's future position. It also claims that William had already studied the document, that Catherine had taken part in a private constitutional consultation, and that Charles had signed a reform that could eventually limit Camilla's role. None of those specific events has been officially confirmed. There is no publicly available official evidence confirming the alleged private meeting, the alleged secret document, or the detailed conversations described in the story. That is why these claims should not be presented as established royal news. However, there is a real constitutional issue behind some of the discussion. Royal titles and honors can involve formal legal and constitutional processes. The House of Commons Library explains that many royal titles and honors are granted under the royal prerogative, often through formal instruments such as letters patent or royal warrants. Some can also be removed through formal processes. So, if there were ever an official change to a royal title or formal status, it would be important to look for the actual constitutional or legal process behind that change. A social media story claiming that a secret document has already decided everything is not enough evidence by itself. This is especially important when the claim concerns Queen Camilla. At present, there is no confirmed public announcement saying that Camilla has lost her current position or that a secret decision has already been made to remove her future role. She remains part of the working royal family. At the same time, it is reasonable to say that a future reign could involve changes to the way the royal household operates. If Prince William eventually becomes king, he would become the reigning monarch, and the institution around the crown would have to operate under the needs of his reign. That could mean changes to working arrangements, official responsibilities, staffing, and other parts of the royal household. But that does not automatically mean that those changes would be the result of a personal conflict between William and Camilla. It also does not prove the existence of a secret plan. This is where we need to be very careful with the original story. It presents a dramatic picture in which Camilla discovers that the future she believed she had secured could be changed by a document signed by her husband. It presents William and Catherine as people who had already prepared for this outcome. And it presents Charles as someone who may not have fully understood the consequences of a document he supposedly signed. Those details create a powerful story, but without reliable evidence, they remain claims within an unverified narrative. The same applies to the alleged words and reactions described in the story. A private conversation between members of the royal family cannot be treated as fact simply because a story describes it in great detail. For responsible news reporting, there must be a clear distinction between what is confirmed and what is alleged. So, what can we confidently say? We can say that Charles is the current king. We can say that Camilla is the current queen. We can say that William is the current heir to the throne. We can say that the British monarchy has established constitutional rules and that royal titles and honors can involve formal legal processes. And we can say that a future change of reign could bring changes to the organization and working arrangements of the royal household. But we cannot honestly say that William and Catherine have already created a secret plan against Camilla. We cannot say that a secret succession document has already been used to limit her future role. And we cannot say that the private meeting described in the original story definitely happened. There is simply not enough verified public evidence to make those claims. This distinction matters because royal news can spread very quickly online. A dramatic headline can turn an unverified story into something that looks like an official palace announcement. Once that happens, viewers may believe that a major royal decision has already been made, even when there is no official evidence supporting it. That is why the most accurate way to describe this story is not as a confirmed palace scandal. It is better understood as an unverified story built around real people, real royal positions, and real constitutional concepts. The real constitutional question is much more straightforward. If William eventually becomes king, his reign will have its own structure and priorities. The royal household can be organized around the needs of that new reign. Some responsibilities could change, some arrangements could continue, and some decisions may only become clear when that future situation actually arrives. But until an official announcement or reliable evidence confirms a specific change, we should not claim that it has already happened. So, after looking at the available facts, the conclusion is clear. King Charles is still the reigning monarch. Queen Camilla is still an active queen. Prince William remains first in line to the throne, and the alleged secret document and private confrontation described in the viral story have not been officially confirmed. That does not mean future royal arrangements cannot change. It simply means we should wait for evidence before calling a major change a fact. And perhaps that is the most important lesson from this entire story. Real royal news should be based on evidence, not just on how convincing a story sounds. Until credible evidence appears, the claims about a secret plan to restrict Camilla's future role should remain exactly what they are: unconfirmed claims, not confirmed royal news.